Is that they all start with a really weird quote. And every single book ties itself back to that quote. And also, each name is referenced in the books. So, like, New Moon is referenced, but I just was reading, like, the other day in class, that Eclipse was referenced by Jacob, who is one of the characters in the book, and Bella calls him her sun, like the sun outside, and he says no amount of sun can fight an eclipse, and meaning Edward is in the way. So that was like a cool reference. But this one starts off with the Robert Frost quote, which, who doesn't love Robert Frost, but it's called Fire and Ice. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. And would suffice. This is the third book in the series, and so I've read the whole series. This is my second time reading Eclipse. And the first book, you know, all of them are set in Forks, which is Washington. And cool thing is it's nice and cold and, like, really awesome. So that's where it's set. That's the setting. And it's set, you know, like, in the house and in the forest and in, like, high school and all that fun stuff. But the setting really plays a great big role into the whole plot because they're vampires, obviously. And they can't be in Texas or Florida or Arizona, somewhere that's hot and sunny all the time, because they sparkle in the sun. See, this would be sparkling in the sun. And so Forks is like overcast 90% of the time. So when it is really bright and nice and outside, they use the excuse that they're going hiking. They're a big hiking family, which is not the case at all. They just don't come to school because they don't want to be seen. So it involves Bella, who is the main character, Edward and Jacob, and then all the other characters. So it's Bella, Edward, and Jacob. Like, that's what it is. Basically, Bella is the most self-centered person I've ever met, seen, read about, heard of. Like, she's a terrible human being, and these are her words. She literally says, and I quote, so her and Jacob are talking, and she says, "He wasn't even mad at me. He wasn't even mad at you, Jacob. He's so unselfish, it makes me feel even worse. I wish he would have yelled at me or something. It's not like I didn't deserve it. Well, much worse than getting yelled at." So she's even saying, like, I deserve to die. And she says, literally, like, somebody kill me, like, multiple times throughout the series. And so it's basically a wine fest for her. She is, it's just so pretty outside. She is going throughout the whole book, just like, poor me. So that's the wrap up on Bella, even though she's the main character. Edward, he's not as selfless as Bella thinks he is, because he's just really annoying. Like, he's really selfish. Edward, you know, is the #1 love interest, and she is drawn to him and his mysteriousness and all this. And, like, the main thing in the book is she's human, he's vampire, and sadly, she wants to get with him. And he's like, sorry, honey, I've got morals. No. Put a wall to that. That's a time out, friend. And he proposes to her, and that's a really big deal. And yeah, Jacob doesn't like that. Jacob is the werewolf. Him and Bella have known each other for years and years. They grew up together, and then, you know, she moves down to Forks. And I feel like I find myself reading these books and thinking, like, what is the point? Like, it's kind of hard to find the plot, because it's like, I love you, you love me, and you just don't know it, and like, but then I love him, and I don't love you. And it's just really whiny. It's like reading a girl's diary who's really, like, bipolar, really. But I mean, I love the books. They're terribly written. And so, I mean, as long as you recognize that they're not written well, it's fine. But I'm rereading them because they're really easy reads. And so if you're looking to, you know, kill time, read them. Like, the books are better than the movies. The movies are cringy and terrible. But the main plot with this book is supposed to be sacrificing yourself for love, I really think, because she goes off in this book and talks about how Wuthering Heights and, like, Heathcliff and, like, Kathy, I think is the main lady's name, how they're just, like, in love, and, like, Heathcliff is, like, such a not a nice dude, and so they're just, like, talking, and just, yeah. I don't really understand where, like, it's like she was like, here's a story, crap, I need to put a plot in it, and just, like, okay, put it in, like, whoa, like, so you can read this book if that's what you want to do. I will read this book again probably because I will probably have plenty of time in my life to waste. But I really like them because they're such easy reads. You like an 8-year-old could read these. Like, these are really easy reads. But yeah, they're really easy. And I would just say if you're looking for a really easy read that makes no sense, but it's easy to follow, read these. And it's kind of fun because I'm reading it for the second time. So I'm finding, or I'm like, you know, learning new things, like how Leah was Emily's bridesmaid. I don't even remember reading that the first time. So I love rereading books because they teach you so much more, and you learn more because it's like, I didn't remember that. I don't remember this happening. Oh my gosh, who is this? Like, what? So just like rewatching a movie, you can watch it so many times that you can quote it. Same with books. So overall, I would give this book like 3 stars. Take off like a whole star because the writing is terrible. Take off 1 star for the bland characters and the crappiness of Bella because she is. Thanks for listening to my book talk.